Title: I work the toll at Whispers Pass. Something just escaped. People don't believe me when I say I'm a toll collector. They picture highways, tickets, bored drivers tossing coins into rusted baskets. Not this. Not here. Whispers Pass doesn't show up on maps. Never did. You could drive all day and miss the turn without realizing it, because the road doesn't want to be found. But if you do end up here, if your tires crunch on pine needles and you pass the crooked sign with the paint half faded, you are now entering, you'll see it, a little booth made of green metal and fogged glass. Just sitting on the edge of the world like a loose tooth. That's mine. We don't collect tolls. We collect balance. My grandfather worked this post before me, and his father before him. They called it, keeping the line. Not a job. A duty. My father took it after Grandpa died, and I took it from him when he retired. Every man in our bloodline has sat in that little box, staring into mist and stamping papers to keep the entities moving. When I was a kid, Grandpa used to whisper stories while sharpening his knife on the porch. He never raised his voice, but he never looked away from the trees when he spoke either. Don't wave to the man in white, Evan. He don't know he's dead, and he don't take kindly to reminders. Don't let the girl with the crow hands ask you riddles. Her teeth are backwards, and her answers cut deeper than lies. I thought they were fairy tales. Until I took the job. First night on the job, Dad handed me the booth key, the ledger, and a fire-worn notebook thicker than my fist. The cover simply read, Protocol. Inside, handwritten notes, stains that smelled like rust and mint, symbols that hurt to look at for too long. My name had already been added to the roster. Dad only gave me one real piece of advice before he walked into the trees and disappeared: never let two through at once. And don't look back if something calls your name. That night, at exactly 1:17 a.m., I met the white man. He shuffled into view through the mist, dressed in an outdated suit, face blank with grief. When he reached the window, he smiled, almost relieved, and asked, "Ticket, please?" His hands shook. So did mine. I followed protocol: open freezer. Take the damp paper marked with a fading black glyph. Don't speak. Just hand it over. He blinked, looked confused, and whispered, "Ticket, please?" He'd already forgotten. If you delay, if you speak, the white man begins to scream. And once he starts, he won't stop until something bleeds. That first month was hell. The bull hunter came next. A massive figure with red hide stitched across his back like patchwork, dragging half-seen things in chains that writhed like worms. He never speaks, but nods once if you respect the process. You must sign the manifest with blood, just a prick of the finger, and never, ever touch the chains. One twitch of curiosity, and the thing inside the bindings might recognize you. The girl came after that. We call her the Crowskin. Pale, filthy, wearing a dress of bird feathers. She walks backward, always backward, and sings lullabies in overlapping children's voices. Her riddles sound innocent: what walks on four legs in the morning? But her answers echo inside your bones. One night, I forgot and muttered an answer. She smiled with eyes like cracks in glass and stood outside the booth for 6 hours, pressing her forehead against the window until dawn. There was the blind bride, sobbing in her tattered lace veil, asking if her husband had come through. Yes. Yesterday. You must always say yesterday, the only answer that satisfies her. In return, she places a single white pearl on the counter. You take it. You do not drop it. If you do, she'll follow you home and cry under your bed until your spine snaps in your sleep. Then came the rag choir, 6 of them, faceless, singing a wet, off-key hymn. You don't speak to them. You don't breathe too loud. Just stamp each of their passes with ink mixed from lamb's blood and ash, then bow until their song fades. The mirror born. I hate that one the most. It arrives only if you stare into your own reflection too long past midnight. It looks like you. Speaks like you. But it never blinks first. The protocol: break the mirror. Burn the fragments. Log the time. Don't let it talk you into opening the booth door. You will never come back in. There's the salt woman, her skin cracking and dry, voice like waves. She offers a glass jar of seawater. You take it, store it in the locked drawer labeled drift. Never open it. The salt inside whispers. That whisper sinks. The laughing butcher once tried to sneak past while I was dealing with the violet child. He dragged a bag behind him that dripped red and giggled at the same rhythm as my heartbeat. I activated booth light 3, red strobe. That's the hunter's signal. 5 minutes later, the butcher was gone. Only the chains on the floor, rattling like teeth. One night, a civilian from a nearby farm tried to take a shortcut past the booth. Didn't believe in our town's old spook stories. He ran over the clockworm. It doesn't look like a worm. More like a spiral of bronze and time that slithers across the asphalt. When he hit it, time around the booth slowed to a crawl. I saw his truck suspended mid-air for nearly 12 hours before it came crashing down in a single second. The man aged 30 years in a blink. His eyes bled hours. We buried him before dawn. For a full year, I kept the toll. It became routine. Bone-deep muscle memory. I learned the feel of entities before I saw them. A sudden temperature drop meant the lantern priest. He must be greeted with candles lit and eyes cast downward. Never look at his feet, they point the wrong way. If the radio cut to static and the wind stopped, the empty car was coming. You let it through. No matter what. Even if it's honking. Even if something in the back seat is begging for help. Then they sent Tony. A new recruit. The council insisted, "You're too young to carry this alone. We need backups." He was cocky. Called it ghost traffic control. Scrolled his phone between passes. Kept asking why we didn't go digital. I told him, "You can't Bluetooth a soul back into place." He lasted 27 days. It happened on a quiet Thursday. I was on my break, brewing coffee. Tony was manning the booth. The bull hunter arrived, dragging a new entity I'd never seen, a pulsating mound of black feathers, chained and gurgling. The bull's head was lowered. This one was dangerous. Tony didn't follow protocol. He asked, "Is this one even on the list?" He opened the gate. The bull tried to stop it. Chains snapped like violin strings. The entity slipped free. The next 48 hours are a blur. Animals started disappearing. Babies wouldn't stop crying. People forgot how to sleep. Fog poured in from the east like milk. And then Tony changed. He started speaking in loops. Repeating conversations from earlier in the day. Bleeding from the ears. One morning, I found him standing barefoot in the road, whispering the Kroskin's riddles to himself. He walked into the woods 3 nights ago. I don't think he's gone. Just, wearing something else now. I've doubled the warding. Burned the mirrors. Locked the south drawer with iron nails. But I feel it. Whatever escaped the bull hunter's chains, it's still in the pass. And tonight, the violet child is knocking again. Only now her eyes are red. And she's whispering Tony's voice. If you find this entry, and you see a toll booth where there shouldn't be one, don't stop. Don't ask questions. And if someone who looks like me waves you down, keep driving. No matter how loud I scream. Evan Teller, 3rd toll keeper of Whispers Pass. Log ended, time missing. Fog level, red. Status, breached.